When it comes to economic development in Western New York, what needs to happen before we start paying attention? $1 billion for Buffalo. That got our attention. How could $1 billion allegedly coming to this area not be interesting? Construction cranes. Construction cranes get our attention too. Why? Because we haven't seen them for a while. Look at all the great new buildings going up on the medical campus. Larkinville. Has everyone been to Larkinville? The fantastic job that Howard Zemke has done with that neighborhood. Waterfront. Waterfront's starting to happen too. Now these are all very sexy projects that the local politicians are doing a great job congratulating themselves for, especially now that's election season. But I'm going to have a little more unpopular view of some of these things. My problem is that these projects are being populated by existing Buffalo companies. We're dealing with a very complicated puzzle right now. That puzzle is, how do we drive the local economy here? Existing Buffalo companies changing addresses, all we're really doing is rearranging the pieces of the puzzle. But we're not putting any together. And there's some pieces missing. These pieces are jobs. Now, don't get me wrong. I love these projects. These projects are important. We need these projects. Like Kevin said earlier, there's an energy in Western New York that I have not seen. I lived in Cleveland during the heyday, when Cleveland had its growth. I moved back, but I'm feeling that same sort of vibe going on here in Buffalo. But where are the jobs? Has anyone seen Senator Gillibrand's new commercial? Senator Gillibrand talks about New York's investment in high-tech, biotech, clean energy. Now, these are all very forward-thinking, strategic investments that practically every other state in the union is making right now. We need to do something more tactical, something that's going to generate jobs sooner than later. I try hard not to be cynical especially during campaign season, when I hear these things. And I really want to believe her. But we've heard this before. What happened to becoming a center of excellence in bioinformatics? Now, the new thing is center of excellence in material informatics. Now, I don't know if that's the same thing, and it changed, or these are two separate things. All I know for sure is I can't name one company that's hiring anyone in informatics. And I'm sure something will eventually will come of these. But, ceramics. Ceramics is another one I'm hearing a lot about right now. But how long before the research is done, discoveries made, patents filed, companies formed, ideas commercialized, customers found, sales made, and then we start hiring? Like I said, I'm sure something will come of this. But how does that help my uncle, who's going to lose his job at the end of the year when Stryker finally closes Gamer? I need a drink. But what if I was to tell you there's a growth sector happening already in Buffalo? A sector that has 20 companies in it. A sector that's generating, from my best guess, between $100 and $150 million in sales. Employing a couple other people. That's doing this with very little government assistance, or most of the time, they're excluded from most government programs. This sector also has been named the hottest sector that venture capitalists want to invest in. This was talked in great length. This is a technology crowd. I'm sure a lot of people here read TechCrunch. And Steve used to write for TechCrunch. But they talk about this sector, that this is where the VCs want to invest their money. Now, Western New York was last in venture capital activity last year. Last. Let that sink in for a minute. There was more action in Des Moines, Iowa than there was here. That's bullshit. All right? It is. You want to know what this sector is? It's simple. It's e-commerce, electronic commerce. Companies like mine, Kegworks, VoIP Supply, Dormco, Momor. There's 20 of us in town. And we're all, passionate about this. The impact we're making with no support. Now, can you imagine what would happen if we encouraged these companies, recruited new ones to come, or did everything we could to help people start these new companies? Why should we focus on this sector? This sector needs what Western New York has. It's a great place to have an e-commerce company. It's centrally located. If you draw a circle around Buffalo and make the perimeter of that circle how far you could ship a package 2 days, you could go from Maine to Iowa to South Carolina. In that spot, you can hit 48.5% of the US population. Now, besides wanting a fair price, online shoppers want their product in their hands quickly. Despite what LL Bean tells you, there's no such thing as free shipping. You're paying for it. But if I can get to my customers quicker using conventional shipping methods than my competition, that's a competitive advantage. Now, here's another thing about e-commerce companies. It's not the part of international business that is worthy of a press conference. Okay? It's the politically incorrect side of e-commerce. We import. We try like hell to source locally and domestically, but truth be told, we have to import product. Now, we import through the Port of New York, the Port of New Jersey. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Homeland Security. You've been to the border. They do the best job they can at looking at as many packages coming into this country as they can, these parcels. But in their earnest, the ports get backed up. Your stuff could be in New York, New Jersey for a long time. And I got to tell you, it's a fantastic phone call to a Port of New Jersey person who's overworked, who's getting 100 of these phone calls. They're more than helpful. Okay, this is the real Jersey Shore, not the nonsense on MTV. But being here, we can use the Port of Toronto. Port of Toronto is a little bit longer into port, less time out of port. Less time out of port is what I'm concerned about. There's a plethora of custom brokers and fantastic freight companies right here that can get your freight down here faster, and now that inventory is able for you to sell. Another thing that e-commerce companies need is we need warehouse space. We need someplace to put this inventory. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of empty buildings here in Buffalo. But let's look at that as a positive for a second. Number one, it's competitive. It means landlords are working like crazy to get you into that space. That's bringing the price down. Okay? I know that Kegworks has moved into more space than we will ever need 4 times now. That's a good problem to have. The space doesn't need to be pretty. It needs a roof that doesn't leak, it needs to be secure, and it needs a dock. And that dock's optional. One of the biggest e-commerce companies here in Western New York distributes Halloween costumes. They're in an old bowling alley. Now, if you haven't noticed, I'm big on job creation. When people think retail, they think entry-level clerical jobs. When people think distribution, they think low-paying warehouse jobs. E-commerce requires a different talent set. It's not minimum wage jobs. These are high-paying jobs, some paying close to 6 figures. Jobs you would want your kids, our local college graduates, to know about. And I'm not going to lie, this is a little self-serving. My daughter's in kindergarten. My son's a sophomore. I want them here. We need to create more opportunities to keep our kids here. If we change the opportunity, they'll stay. In the last 6 years, Kegworks has created over 40 jobs. That's 40 more than Bass Pro. Now, speaking of Bass Pro, we spent a lot of time, we spent a lot of money trying to attract traditional brick and mortar. Location, location, location. Okay. Location doesn't matter not only for your physical location, but it needs to be the economy around your location. If you're in a shrinking market with unfavorable economic conditions, it's going to be tough to attract new retail. Bass Pro, Whole Foods, Costco, IKEA, they're not here. Trader Joe's was the lead story of the news for 2 days, front page of the newspaper, not because they said they were coming, because they didn't say they weren't. Think about that. It just blows my mind. But so what if they do come? What do we gain? A few entry-level jobs and some positive reinforcement for our shaky collective self-images. They believe in Western New York. They're investing here. No. What do we get? At the end of the day, those profits leave town. E-commerce is completely reversed. When you sell online, you are instantly a national company. With a few adjustments, you're international. What's that mean? We bring money into the economy. It doesn't matter where we're located. It's a matter that we're here. This is new money, not recycled casino money. It's not money from Buffalo going to Tonawanda. This is new money into the local economy. And you know what else we do? We pay taxes. Good God, do we pay taxes. Welcome to Erie County and welcome to New York State. We pay payroll taxes, sales tax. We collect sales tax. We pay taxes on our profit. You know what? After cost of goods sold, our highest expense is payroll. When you pay people, they have a tendency to spend it. Okay, they spend it locally. It compounds. Investment into this local economy. Boy, I need to pick this up. All right. So this is why we want to be here. For all the great things e-commerce can do, what do we need to get more here? All right? We need to encourage the sector. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. It goes against every fiber of my being. But to do this right, we need a new government entity. And it makes the most sense at the county level. So I'm looking at you, polling cars. Don't put your brother in charge of it. This isn't the water authority. You need to hire smart people to run this agency. Okay? People that have sold things online, not web developers. Okay? It's going to need a little bit of funding, but if the World Trade Center Buffalo Niagara can find $800,000 to support local companies trying to export it, local medical device companies trying to export into China, we can figure out how to fund this thing. All right? This needs to be the go-to resource for e-commerce. E-commerce isn't rocket sciences, but the technology can be intimidating. You know, you need to be the go-to resource and don't charge for it. Okay, you're doing this for the good of the community. You know, you need to teach people how to do the best practices, how to write web copy, search engine optimization, understanding your analytics, how to drive traffic to your site. And you need to understand the business part, because the business part is where a lot of e-commerce companies get hung up. How to optimize your warehouse, how to do credit card processing correctly, how to do customer service correctly. Okay, be that clearinghouse for information. You need to work with the entrepreneur programs here in Buffalo. Get these companies ready to go to Z80 Labs. The new UB programs for entrepreneurship that are starting to happen. Jumpstart New York. I'm real excited for Jumpstart New York, but I'm hoping Jumpstart's not handcuffed. We need to adjust current economic development programs. If I want to buy a tube bender, if I want to be put an addition onto my building, I can do that. But most other programs, and I get that because it's hard to collateralize a website versus a CNC machine, okay? But we need to do this so people can invest in infrastructure, invest in technology, invest in things that are going to generate these jobs. ECIDA loan programs. Kegworks isn't eligible for any of them because we're not a service-oriented company and we're not a manufacturer, all right? If I was a yoga studio, I could get money from ECIDA, but you know, my 48 employees aren't eligible for any of that. Go look at their website, it's true. Workforce development. We need to do what we need. We need to do what we can to encourage people to hire, but we need to not punish them because they don't hire from the right pool of candidates. We need to give them credits for hiring, adding jobs. All right. I got 20 seconds here. All right. This is low-hanging fruit. I missed 3 more points, but too bad. This is low-hanging fruit. It's faster. It's cheaper. Sales fixes everything. We can jumpstart this economy quickly. One last thing, support your local entrepreneur programs. We need to tell our kids that it's okay to make their own job. Okay. Being successful doesn't mean you're a lawyer, doesn't mean you're a doctor, and having a good job in Western New York doesn't mean you work at M&T or Blue Cross. It's okay to start your own company, and it's okay to fail. Because when you fail, you learn. And the next time you do it, you're going to be smarter and you're going to succeed. And that's what entrepreneurship is what's going to drive this local economy. Cheers. Thank you.